Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is the first in a new format of webinars we're doing. Traditionally, when we speak to prosperity, they can go on for quite a long time, an hour and 20 minutes. This time around, we're going to try and keep it short and sweet. We're going to do 25 minutes. We're going to have 10 minutes with David Yelloly on the pros and cons of off-plan property. David, say hello.
Hi there, everyone.
Excellent. And everyone says hello back to you. And then after David, we're going to go over to Sam, who's in a unit in city centre of Birmingham for 10 minutes. Sam, how are you?
Morning, everyone. Morning from Birmingham. As you can see, another beautiful day here, as always.
As always. I don't think that's true, is it? Is it always sunny there?
Sun's shining on us, Callum. Sun's shining on us, always.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll do 10 minutes there, guys, and then we'll do sort of 5-10 minutes of questions from everyone that's tuned in. If you want to know something specific, a question for myself, for David, for Sam, and then we'll wrap it up. So hopefully we'll be done before 5 o'clock, guys, so you can all clock off and not go home because we're all still working from home, but get off to other things. So without any further ado, David, should we jump in and have a bit of a chat about the pros and cons of buying off plan? Perhaps start with sort of 3 or 4 benefits of buying off plan, if you can.
Okay, just a couple of minutes for those of you tuning in who don't know Prosperity. We are a UK-based developer. Our office is actually in Birmingham, but we have a number of different projects around the UK, as far north as Halifax in Yorkshire, as far south as Southend down near London, but a proliferation in the East and West Midlands. The primary focus for us is building and delivering projects off plan, and that is what we've been doing for the last 14 years. So it's been a very successful model. We've sold over 4,000 apartments now and houses over a wide UK landscape, and the model has proven very effective for a number of our clients, obviously. So there is some bad press about off-plan, and I think that is justified. When we first started, we were selling off-plan to our clients and literally had hardly any track record. So trying to convince a client to buy a property when we were saying we were going to deliver it in 2 years was really a leap of faith for the client. And I'm very grateful for those people that stood by us and did it at the time. But if I'm entirely frank about it, I'm not sure I would have done the same thing. So one of the disadvantages of buying off plan is that leap of faith, is having the confidence in the developer to go ahead and produce and do what they say they're going to do, or what it says on the tin. So the very, very important aspect of it is make sure you're investing with a company that's been around for a long time, has got evidence of a successful track record and can deliver. And off plan is fraught with danger, there's no doubt. And one of the biggest dangers, I think, is ensuring that you're investing in a company that's got the wherewithal and the financial acumen to deliver a project. And I think the best way to ensure that is to look at track record. So there's a negative. The great positive about off-plan investing, without question, is the ability, particularly in a rising market, to reserve an apartment or a house today, fix the price, pay us a really quite modest deposit, and our particular way of selling apartments to people is very effective from a cash flow point of view, and just allow us to build the project over the next 18 months, 2 years, and watch the value of that asset grow as the market continues to rise. And we remain extremely confident about the benefits of the off-plan market. Property values are still represent good value, and we see lots of reasons why they're going to rise. And for those of you who've not made an investment before, it's the lowest risk way of getting into the market. Just pay a small deposit and then watch us build the project for you, get regular updates, see the whole thing. It becomes really exciting, and you become an experienced investor during that journey, before you've actually completed. And that's why I think the model has proven so successful for us.
So I think that's a really important point there, David, actually. I think, well, two of the main benefits you say today, you can buy at today's prices and you're locking in today's prices, but the property is going to be realized at values in, 2 years from now. So you're getting that built-in capital appreciation. And then as well, I think the barriers to entry, the entry point of off-plan, you don't need 30% deposit on the nose, which is, on £100,000 property, £30,000, you don't need £30,000 plus to get going. As you say, it's a much lower entry point. So I think, guys, listen, those are two key things. It's the built-in value you're getting and the lower entry point. Back to you, David.
Absolutely. I think going back to it, the other point there is just engineering the risk out of the purchase. There's still some uncertainty in some areas of the market and with investors. Is it the right time now? We're coming out of the pandemic. We've had Brexit in the UK. Are the impacts of Brexit fully activated within the economy? And so the way to ensure that you're not missing out, because our view is that those factors are now discounted within the market, is to do it on this low cost basis and pay a modest amount and just watch what happens. And it is the easiest and most economical entry into buying investment property in the UK, and that is unique to Prosperity, the ability to pay your deposit over 18 or 24 months or whatever the term is to completion.
It is indeed, yeah. And I think for people that would like more information on that, on you guys and sort of your model for researching and sort of your decision making process for looking at areas to invest in and build in yourselves, you can go and look at our other webinars we've done with Prosperity guys, but we won't go into that now because we're trying to keep it short and sweet for everyone who's listening's sake. So maybe, David, we've had a couple of good benefits there, or the key benefits, I would say. What would you say, if there are any? I know you're probably a little bit biased because you are a developer that builds off-plan property, but what are the negatives? I
started with the biggest negative, and that is the risk. And so that is a huge one, and the client has to decide whether they're prepared to take that risk. From our point of view, we believe our track record evidences the fact that the risk is minimized as much as it can be, because we've done it before, and it's easy to see what we've achieved. So that's the biggest pitfall of off-plan.
And that is, I mean, sorry, just to jump in, you read, especially being overseas, being over here, you just see the headlines about off-plan and investors losing money. And I think that's what a lot of people naturally jump to when they hear off-plan is, oh, well, you hear these stories about people losing money in off-plan. So that track record and having a history and doing your research on the developer, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then just one other negative, well, not negative, but downside I would put in is, you've got to look at your goals and see what you're trying to achieve. If you want immediate income straight away from a property, then paying for a property over 2 years to be built may not be the best approach. It may be better to speak to Prosperity or whoever and try and find a property that's completed with a tenant in situ that can earn you money straight away. So you should match what you're trying to achieve with the properties you're buying.
And I think, speaking to your listeners here, Callum, that the advantage of dealing with a broker is paramount there, because really anybody who comes into the investment property arena at the moment buying their first property should have it as in their mind that they're going to buy 2 or 3 if affordability allows. So the trick really is to try and work along with your advisor and find something which is off plan, perhaps 24 months from completion. And then next, maybe something which is 12 months from completion. And if the bank balance allows it, then maybe look at something that's almost complete, so that you've got these different time horizons for your investment, and you can start creating a property portfolio that creates exactly what you're achieving, which is some degree of financial security, an income stream, and the ability to capitalize without deploying too much of your capital from outset.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's very good advice. Thank you. Okay, I mean, we could chat on a bit more there like we normally do, but we're going to cut over to the man in the apartment, Sam Richards. Sorry, that wasn't a very good intro, Sam. Sam, we're with you again now. We've got some questions for you, just based on sort of where you are and off-plan units and stuff like that. Can you perhaps first of all tell us where exactly you are, what's special about where you are, what development you're in, and all that sort of stuff, please?
Yeah, that's absolutely great. So I'm here at 7 House. It's on the very cusp of being complete. It's a hive of activity downstairs. Currently on an upper floor, 2-bedroom unit, and we're in the city centre of Birmingham. And for me, this is really an example of off-plan investment gone right. This model is exactly as it should flow. So buyers here place reservations, literally off-plan, so they have floor plans and perhaps representative images to choose from. And in that time, since they placed that deposit and built their monthly instalment plan, the Birmingham market's moved significantly, well over 10% in that time, and prosperity delivered. And so here we are. I'm going to give you a brief tour of the apartment. To give you a background, so we are in the very city centre of Birmingham here. New Street Station, the primary train station connection to London at the moment, is about 2 minutes that way. The financial district, shopping districts, and food and restaurants and entertainment. This is a city centre location within walking distance of everything. And as a result, we spec'd it to a luxury standard. The tenants that we expect here are going to be financial workers, come up from London typically to work at the newly opened offices, HSBC, Goldman Sachs around the corner. So that's where we are and what we're doing here. This is a 2-bedroom apartment. It has the benefit of a very smart balcony, which runs the full length of the apartment, which you can just see behind me here.
Great. And I was, sorry, just jump in if I may, Sam, quickly. I was going to ask what actually about that sort of location makes it a good place to buy. Why did Prosperity choose that as a place to build an off-plan development? But I think you probably talked us through it there. It's close to a lot of employment centres. There's a large population of people that are going to be needing places to live. So, I mean, the reason I ask is because people, when they're looking at buying off-plan, they can apply that same model, what makes somewhere a good buying location, whether it be Norfolk, Broadoaks, or Nottingham, or Scotland, whatever it may be. There's certain things you can look for, right? And I think you've just sort of talked us through some of the key things there.
Yeah, so you know this better than anyone. That so the property growth drivers, in absolute basic sense, the whole of the UK suffers from a lack of supply, and that's true in Norfolk, especially so because it's a greenfield location. They really don't build enough homes there. But you're looking for a good local economy, good train connections, a good pool of the rental demographic. So that's age sort of 25 to 35, 40. Keeping in mind that actually family homes are one of the fastest growing sectors of demand in rental property. People are renting longer. And they're looking for flexibility of tenure. So yeah, and above all, you want that sort of regeneration in the air. You want that local market growth. And Birmingham ticks that box. Sites like Norfolk do, a lot of different prosperity locations. Would you like me to give you a tour of the place?
Yeah, that would be one. I think I'm itching. Everyone's itching to see. And perhaps as you're going through, maybe just a little bit on the fixtures and fittings. What's the sort of quality like in there for the people that are tuned in, that are Prosperity clients already, that are considering Prosperity, or just considering from a far out perspective off-plan in general? What sort of quality of finish can they expect from a good developer with a good track record such as yourselves?
Yeah, so I suppose it's especially key for your clients, guys who may want to not visit the properties for some years, if at all. So one thing to highlight is with all of our floor plans and the interior specification, they're finished to a fully residential standard. So this is a highly desirable property on the open market for a homeowner. Now, it just so happens that an investor secured it, and that also gels with the fact that young professional renters now have a much higher demand for quality. I'm not a student anymore. I don't want student digs. I'm actually very typical of the rental demand market in Birmingham. And so I'll just give you a little tour here. It's probably going to be difficult to convey by the Zoom medium, but the standard of finish is exceptional. We'll run through it. So this is the kitchen, obviously. there's quite a large cooking space. We envisage that there'll be a dining table in the foreground here, but obviously all of your appliances are built in. Here we've got standard fridge, freezer, a lot of storage space, solid work surfaces.
And those, sorry, the fridge and freezer and stuff like that, that's all comes standard with a purchase, does it, or does that go in after? Yeah,
this is the beauty of it. So when you're buying off-plan homes, houses typically, you'll have to pay extra for some of these features like flooring and additional finishes and features. But no, so Prosperity, they come ready to go. And if you include the furniture pack at the end, it really is all taken care of for you. And so one thing to keep in mind, and it's perhaps we touched on why off-plan new build as opposed to buying some existing stock. People underestimate how difficult it is to refresh and maintain a property. So you as a long distance buyer, you really don't want to have the stress and hassle of trying to find a local builder you can trust to deliver and execute to a good standard. You're not going to be on the ground. And so here, not only do we deliver to a good standard, we've got an entire team of people whose job is to snag everything on your behalf. And so by the time you hand it over to your tenant, it is absolutely match fit. And you've got the benefit of a 10-year build warranty. All of the appliances have got a 2 to 3 year warranty. And so you've just got that peace of mind, a stress-free element.
What's the really 10-year build, the build warranty? Sorry, what's you can tell us a bit more about that?
No, that's all right. So it covers structural defects. Basically, the contractors we use have to be signed up to the National House Building Council. It means they need to deliver a product to a certain standard. And again, this is one of the features of investing in UK property. You've got the protection of law, protection of regulations, and protection of our standards. And that's not to say that all developers deliver to the same standard of finish, but with Prosperity, you've got also a culture of quality and you've got the protection of legal and council of builders protecting you. So if there's anything that goes wrong with the apartment for 10 years, you're largely covered. But again, when we're building to this sort of spec, you've got, I'd say, a decade of pretty low impact home ownership. I would encourage all investor buyers to be prudent and to save and set aside funds to generally maintain and refresh that property. Wear and tear is obviously going to happen, but these are robust and long-lasting properties. They really are. I might show you the bathroom if that's okay.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, here we are. So again, we've got, there we are, and this comes ready to go. Mirror installed, everything solid, tile flooring, tiled walls, full bathroom, really good size, genuinely, and obviously it's all finished to the current standards of energy efficiency. So you've got electric heaters, electric radiators throughout. Here we've got security in the city centre, video through, good storage. Here we've got the boiler system.
Lovely. Oh wow.
And also the washing machine as well is included. So yeah, it's really turnkey ready. And the question is whether you can choose to add a furniture pack or not. In a city centre location, I probably would. In a housing market, I think I'd actually like to confer with the local letting agents to see what sort of buyers and renters are going to be there. I imagine a family may well have some of their own kit.
Yeah, sorry.
Last thing, so I've given you the full tour, sorry, I'll just show you some of the bedrooms here. So these are full-size doubles. There's probably not getting on the old selfie stick, but you've got room for a double bed, for plenty of storage here. And in this unit, obviously, you've got floor-to-ceiling windows with the balcony. So yeah, this is just spot on for the local Birmingham market. And obviously, we will tailor our designs to fit the local rental market. And here we are again. There's a recess for a big wardrobe over there. So yeah, really, for me, the purpose was to convey that Prosperity to deliver and to try and give your international buyers some sense of a standard of finish.
Excellent. Okay, so that's amazing. That was 10 minutes. For the first time ever, we've actually kept to our schedule. So let's try and kick on whilst we're ahead. I've got one other question for you, Sam. In your eyes, what would make one specific unit or a specific house, if it's Norfolk, for example, what makes one better than another? What are some of the things that you as a renter, a financial worker, for example, renting there in Birmingham is going to pick this unit over, the unit downstairs or a different unit, just so people can get an idea of the sort of little things that they, to look for when they're perhaps selecting a specific unit or a house or something to buy?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's incredibly subjective, as you can imagine. You know, natural light is always at a premium in the UK, especially. You want a good net area. So for a one bed, you're looking at 450 square foot plus is a nice livable space. I personally am, I've got a partner, but we're probably looking at a one bedroom flat between us to save on cost. But I do want room for storage. I have a slight preference to be slightly elevated the building, perhaps. And yeah, location is really the primary driver. So in terms of picking a unit, I want to see a good residential standard kitchen so I can actually cook some food. I don't want one of those little student
Are you a good cook?
Micro kitchens. And then yeah, give me a window and a full length gin terrace, and I'm anyone's really.
That's lovely. That is that the flats balcony out there? Can you get access out there from?
Yeah, it is. So keep in mind, this is a prestige unit, and that would have been reflected in the price and also the rental side. And you've got to be mindful of the balance. So really, we layer the pricing of all of our units in the development so that the penthouse units will command a price premium, then you've got to balance the yield. So we try to structure it so that even if you took a ground floor unit, the price relative to the rental income would make commercial sense for you as a landlord. And the fact is this, in every location we have invested in, so keep in mind that for your investors looking at buying one unit, Prosperity have taken a 4 or 5 year commitment to that site and invested significantly ourselves. We've got to be confident of the rental demand and the exit potential. So every single one of these apartments will be rented on day one. That's pretty consistent across most of our sites. You know, we pick very carefully high demand areas.
Excellent. Yeah, and just to reiterate, guys, we'll send this out, this recording, and then perhaps we'll send out the webinar we did last time as well, where we talk about this sort of stuff in a lot more detail with Prosperity. It's very much more looking at their business model and why they do what they do. But questions, guys, to all of our many millions of listeners all over the world, if you'd like to pose your questions now, we'll go through those. We've got a few coming in already, guys. Will this spec and finish, will this, this style, will this be the same or similar for properties in Broadoaks in Norfolk?
Yes, absolutely. I noticed that question from one of our existing clients.
Yeah.
So yes, it will be. Broadoaks is the same marquee standard that we are delivering on Seven House. So it will be identical.
Super duper, thanks. And what is this property, what is the value of the one you're in now, Sam? And I'll take that a step further. What sort of rental?
Maybe I can give some background to that.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, because I sold it through a brokerage called APW, I believe. So so this is an APW client who obviously will remain nameless, but so he reserved the apartment 2 years ago, and as Sam says, it's a £350,000 apartment when he bought it, and it's worth a good deal more than that now. So and it's being that marquee type of product, the yield isn't necessarily going to be quite so high, because you can have a 2-bedroom apartment in the same building for £260,000 or £70,000.
Mm.
But this particular client of yours was animated by the idea of having a balcony, and actually thought that one day he might actually come and live there himself. And so so he was happy to take a lower type of yield. But we would expect the yield to be between 4.5% and 5% on that property.
Great. Yeah, and I think that's that's indicative of higher value properties, isn't it? You look at the Broadoaks development, when you're getting into that higher tier of property value, naturally the yield does come down a little bit, because you can't get a massive yield and a very high value property. They just don't really go hand in hand. If you could,
we're doing some of the lettings management on this project, obviously, and through our sister company Lamont & Co, and the enthusiasm around this particular unit has been extraordinary. And I think we've got 3 people from HSBC who are considering renting it. So there's almost a fight around a honeypot for it at the moment. So it will command a very good rental yield, and I can't ever see it being empty, which is rental voids are always a bit of a concern. So to have this demand and almost a queue for the property when it becomes vacant is paramount in any long-term investment strategy.
Great, yeah, and I think you can ensure that by doing your research and buying in the right location and all of that sort of stuff. So, which obviously you guys have done a good job on. Anyone listening, would anyone like to ask any more questions whilst we've got the experts here, David and Sam? Anyone like to see anything about the flats or anything at all? This is a APW and Prosperity first, having a tour of a unit like this and trying to make these webinars a bit shorter. So if we haven't got any questions, maybe we'll just perhaps we'll just summarize with a benefit. You know, what's your favorite thing about Offplan, David? Then you, Sam, and then I'll finish with my favorite thing about Offplan. See if we can come up with 3 different things.
Offplan is all about timing. If the property market is strong, which it is in the UK, and I think we've got 5 years of predictable and appreciable growth in property, then undoubtedly buying an off-plan property with a minimal deposit today is the most useful and most attractive way to use your deposit monies. You may well be sitting on deposit monies in a bank or a building society if you're UK based, or you may have a good net income and you're just not sure what to do with your money. And surely reserving an apartment or a house with a minimal deposit, knowing that the value is going to rise over the build process, is one of the best things you can do with investment today. I think that's the clear-cut advantage in my view.
Thank you very much. Sam?
For me, it's about convenience. So people are tempted to browse Rightmove and find completed stock in a location, and it might compare and contrast the two. If you think about home ownership, it's hard enough finding a developer and a builder you can trust when you're on the ground. And with Prosperity's track record and the standard we're delivering to know that you've got that 5-10 years of high quality property that won't cause any stress long distance, that really is a key feature. If you were to buy a comparable finished property, who knows what sort of modernization or refurbishment you have to do. Trying to manage that long distance would be a nightmare. There'd be a cost component, a time component. And we're well aware that for your sort of international clients, be they finance, tech workers, they don't have hours of the day to manage that. And so, yeah, this is a great source of pride for Prosperity. This is a really, really strong test of the work we do. And so, yeah, convenience is the key for me.
Super duper. And I think we almost strayed into the whole package of Prosperity there. It's the management, it's the research, it's all of it together. I think I would say my key benefit, or the thing I like about it the most, is the fact that it's such a low entry point, low barrier to entry. I mean, my first property was Southside Nottingham Prosperity, and that's because it was, I couldn't get together 20 or 30,000 pounds, but I could get together £1,250 a month. So I think that is the main thing. And if it's something you want to do, but you're worried about the cost, then just get started with, X amount per month, and you'll soon build it up. I mean, 2 years flies by, doesn't it? So that would be my main thing, the barriers to entry, but caveat that with, make it fit with your goals. If you want income straight away, then maybe don't get an off-plan unit. So just make sure it's right for you. One more question, will a tour like this be done in Broadoaks? Yes, it will, guys. When we get some completed developments, we're going to start trying to do these more often with the Prosperity guys. So thank you very much for indulging this time, guys. And guys listening, if you've got any questions or any webinars or anything like that you'd like to see done, then let us know and we'll do our best to do them for you. Okay, well, I think sorry.
We've got other sites completing, not Broadoaks, obviously, because that's really in its infancy, but we do have other projects completing in the next couple of months up in Birkenhead, certainly, and another one in Birmingham. So as soon as they're complete, we will be there with Sam,
I hope. Yeah.
It'll be tweed for Broadoaks, but I do want to highlight that as part of our handover team, every buyer with Prosperity will have a individual video tour of their property, so that they can confirm that the snags have been done for them, that it's absolutely pristine before it's handed over. we're well aware that guys are in Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, they can't get back to pick up the keys. And so, yeah, we will do a video tour of your unit, discuss the bits, the features. So yeah, you've got absolute confidence in what you bought.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, David. 2 comments. This has been great, guys. Much appreciated. Excellent. Thank you. We'll leave it there. We're on time for the first time ever. So thanks very much. Have a lovely day, guys, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
That's good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Bye.